I am God. I am Lee Guy On. In the Gospel of Mark, there is a story Mark chapter 5. Okay. Gospel of Mark, chapter 5. They went across the lake to the region of the Gerasenes. When Jesus got out of the boat, a man with an impure spirit came from the tombs to meet him. This man lived in the tombs, and no one could bind him any more, not even with a chain. For he had often been chained hand and foot, but he tore the chains apart and broke the irons on his feet. No one was strong enough to subdue him. Night and day among the tombs and in the hills he would cry out and cut himself with stones. When he saw Jesus from a distance, he ran and fell on his knees in front of him. He shouted at the top of his voice, "What do you want with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? In God's name, don't torture me." For Jesus had said to him, "Come out of this man, you impure spirit." Then Jesus asked him, "What is your name?" "My name is Legion," he replied, "for we are many." And he begged Jesus again and again not to send them out of the area. A large herd of pigs was feeding on the nearby hillside. The demons begged Jesus, "Send us among the pigs, allow us to go into them." He gave them permission, and the impure spirits came out and went into the pigs. The herd, about 2,000 in number, rushed down the steep bank into the lake and were drowned. Those tending the pigs ran off and reported this in the town and countryside, and the people went out to see what had happened. When they came to Jesus, they saw the man who had been possessed by the legion of demons, sitting there, dressed and in his right mind, and they were afraid. Those who had seen it told the people what had happened to the demon-possessed man, and told about the pigs as well. Then the people began to plead with Jesus to leave their region. As Jesus was getting into the boat, the man who had been demon-possessed begged to go with him. Jesus did not let him, but said, "Go home to your own people and tell them how much the Lord has done for you, and how he has had mercy on you." So the man went away and began to tell in the Decapolis how much Jesus had done for him, and all the people were amazed. So, what do I want to talk about? Get a bit of light here. Oh. Yeah. Okay. So. Oh. Excuse me. Yeah. Let me light my cigarette. So the guy, when he's demon possessed, he refers to himself. He said, "My name is Legion." Now Legion is spelled Legion. And so I've been explaining for ages now that the ghost of Leah Dana Houghton is on top of me. She was who people call the Virgin Mary. She carried the baby Jesus in her womb. That was me, thousands of years ago, 2,000 years ago, approximately. And so her ghost is on top of me. I've explained this in the last, I keep explaining in my videos this again and again and again and again and again. Okay, so I mean the thing is that why is this? How's this all happened? Well, I suppose what's the most popular religion in the world? Okay, it's the Catholic Church. Okay, what does the word Catholic mean? Break it down. Let's separate out the words. What's the code word? Cat, hole, lick. Yeah, cat, hole, lick. Cat, hole, lick. Okay, so when I say the ghost of Mary or Leah Dana Houghton, she is upside down. Her rear end, her bum is around my face. Is on my face. And her head is down there. People call that a 69. How did that happen? It's a good question. How long has that been a thing? Since 2019. And that's, I figured out, I found out that I am God. Because all these very strange things happened to me. That's how I found out. And obviously, all these strange things happened to me, and then I'm like, wow, this is bonkers. Who am I? Like, oh, I'm God. Yeah. Oh, by the way, people, I'm God. Huh. No, you're not. We don't believe you. You're crazy. What are you talking about? What a shocker, huh? People's reactions. I told them the stories the things I've seen, the things I've experienced, the things that have happened to me, and things that I make videos every day. I'm making multiple videos every day. I'm constantly posting on Facebook, showing what's happening. I'm showing what the world is. I'm showing how people are trying to take my energy. I'm transmuting. I'm trying to break spells, and people they stare at me and they hate me. Anyways, so this is a spell, a magic spell, okay? Because languages, they've changed, and I keep explaining this. Language. Obviously, 2,000 years ago, the English language didn't exist, and it didn't exist 7,000 years ago. Okay. People use language to do magic spells. In English, the English language is developed, and it is full of magic spells. in order to try to take my power and to try to trap me. I'll explain this one, okay? So, Li Gai On. Well, this is the thing. Ali, Aliyah, that was her name. Li is a short way of saying Aliyah. I am Li Gai On, right? So when I say, and obviously, these demons are associated, the reason he said, my name is Legion, for we are many. And so he is referring to the demons, the evil spirits. And so that's what the story is about. But the fact is, I am God. And the ghost of Aliyah Dana Houghton is on top of me. And so demons are playing this game of, we are Legion, or we are Ligayon. When in fact, I'm good, and they're trying to pretend they're me. Just another really interesting thing about this, because, the demons, it says, a large herd of pigs was feeding on the nearby hillside. Well, I live at house number 12. 12 The Avenue. And, I've explained how the word heaven is hidden in the word the and avenue. Because if you put them together, you get T, heaven, U, E. Alright? I've already explained this, but I thought I'd mention it again. And the thing is, this house, was left to me by my dead mom, and my aunt is being a witch. She's trying to, she thinks that by being an evil demon, she can somehow try to keep God out of heaven. Do you know what I mean? It's like, well, I am heaven. You know what I mean? It's all an illusion. It's magic. Her witchcraft can't defeat me. I'm God. They do try, though. They really do try. Anyways. So, my name is Li Gai On. Well, my name's God. I'm Grant. Grant is the name I was given at birth. Strangely. Grant Salvin. I was Jesus Christ. I am God. I guess I have quite a few names. Abba, Father. I guess as well, people who don't accept me, they will call me Satan and the devil, and that's who I am as well. I'm God and I'm Satan. It depends who I'm dealing with. Do you believe? Do you accept that I'm God, or do you accept that I'm Satan? Which side of the fence do you fall on? That's kind of how it goes. Okay. So this is the thing, because in Chinese astrology, it has there are 12 animals. I mean, if you call a dragon an animal, anyways. But it's 12 signs. Yeah, it's got 12 signs, and the 12th. So how was it done? So basically, it was something like the Jade Emperor. He decided he was going to get all these animals to have a race. They all did a race, and then whoever, and they all had their positions. So the fourth one was the fourth to finish was the rabbit. Obviously Rabbi, rabbit. You've heard of the Easter rabbit, yeah? Well, I was born in the year of the rabbit, so I'm basically the Eastern rabbit. But I live in house number 12, and 12 in tarot is associated with the hanged man. Yeah, you know what? Jesus was hung on a cross. Yeah, it's magic. But the 12th sign in the Chinese zodiac is the pig. It's the pig that finished the race last. Yeah, the pig. So it's interesting here, isn't it? How it says, a large herd of pigs was feeding on the nearby hillside. The demons begged Jesus, "Send us among the pigs. Allow us to go into them." He gave them permission, and the impure spirits came out and went into the pigs. The herd, about 2,000 in number, rushed down the steep bank into the lake and were drowned. So that's interesting because, someone with, I guess some people have called me a pig because of my eating habits. Yeah, I mean, obviously, if someone eats like a pig, they're not a pig, but they eat like, people will say, "Oh, you eat like a pig," you eat too much, and I eat pork as well. Not gonna lie, I eat pork, I eat sausages, I eat bacon, ham, yeah. So this is interesting, isn't it? Because what happens. The demons go into the pigs. The swine is obviously that's another word for pigs. Swine, and obviously the word wine is in swine. And what was the wine for? When Jesus said to the disciples, like, here's the bread. This is my flesh. Here's the wine, the cup of wine. This is my blood. And obviously pigs, they were called swine. Yeah. What kind of magic spell is that? I mean, this is the thing, because pork is associated, that's the thing. To pork, if someone gets pork to her, pork, basically it means sex, doesn't it? Yeah? Like if a man porks a woman. Yeah, it's sex. I mean, you've heard of ham ass, haven't you? Yeah? Pork, it's basically like saying pork ass, which is basically like saying sodomy. It's a magic code way of saying sodomy without actually saying sodomy. It's a sneaky way of doing it. It's a sneaky way of talk. It's like talking in code. It's magic. It's word magic. So, what can I say? What else can I say about this? I mean, that's the thing, because, I've had strange eating habits my entire life. I'll be honest, and so, I mean, I don't always eat like a pig, but I don't always eat more than I should, but I tend to more often than not. Well, yeah, I mean, the thing is, I don't get very much exercise, so I really shouldn't be eating as much as I do anyway, to be quite honest. But the fact is I'm thinking all day long, and that makes me hungry. It really does. Just sitting and thinking all day long makes me hungry. And it gives me an excuse to get out of my chair as well, for 5 minutes. Anyways, so this is the thing, the pigs, it said there were about 2,000 of them. Well, 2 is a magic way of saying poo. 2, right? And 1,000 is also another way of saying poo, because, thou, sand, right? It's like saying you are sand, right? You are sand. Sand is, what color sand? What does sand look like? If you pooed on a beach, do you know what I'm saying? Like, poo is basically, it's like sand colored a lot of the time. So, so this is the thing, right? Because, they want to go into the pigs, and so the demons went into the pigs, the swine, and then they all ran down into the lake and drowned. And what happens these days? Well, You know, go to the toilet, do a poo, flush it down, and where does it go? It goes through a water system, doesn't it? It goes through the sewer system, and it goes off to the, you know, some treatment plant, you know, some water treatment place, and then wherever it goes after that. Usually the sea, isn't it? Yeah. The sea. I mean, this is the thing, you know, thousands of years ago, 2,000 years ago, where did everyone poo? You know what I mean? Do they all just throw their poos in the river? Or do they, you know, do some gardening with it and be like, yeah, here's a bit of fertilizer. Anyway, blah de blah. So I am Lee Guy On. I mean, this is the thing, right? Because he says, you know, my name is Legion. For, you know, that's the number 4. You know, well, for we are many. So for we. Well, that's the thing, right? I am the Emperor. He is number 4 in the tarot deck. He is the authority figure. Number 3 is the Empress. And, you know, it's in Roman numerals, which is I. Which is, you know, it's very difficult because obviously, you know, God is described as being the Trinity. That is 3 persons in one. Yeah? I. Or I am. But, you know, in the tarot deck, in Roman numerals, it's I. And it's the Empress. You know, it's basically, you know, it's this is the box. This is what the Empress card looks like. That's the box that came, you know, it's the tarot card box. But anyways, so I am Lee Guy On. Aaliyah Dana Houghton's ghost. She is sat on my face. Okay, and that's how it is. And that's the other thing, you know, the word lion is in Legion, isn't it? Legion. And also, you know, I have 2 legs that I stand on, right? Legs ion. Legs ion. Legs ion. Sion. Sion, yeah. Sion, Zion. Sion, Zion, yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is the thing, right? So that's a 6-letter word. See, the whore of Babylon, she rides the scarlet beast. And the scarlet beast has, you know, the first beast of the book of Revelation has 7 heads and 10 horns. And so, you know, she is riding me, right? This is the thing. Leah, Dana Houghton, her ghost is on top of me, so she rides. She's with me wherever I go. Yeah, I could run down the street. She'd still be. I could run down the street. I'd be seriously out of breath because I smoke so much. But she would be stuck on me. She's always stuck on me. She has been stuck on me since 2019. So, you know, that's about 6 years. So, yeah, another thing, you know, so Aaliyah, so basically she is Lilith. That's who she is, right? So when people think of Lilith, well, Aaliyah Dana Houghton is Lilith. She's connected to that name. Yeah, I stand on two legs. I have two legs. I'm currently sitting on my bum. I have two legs, and I can walk on them if I choose to. Yeah, I can choose to walk on my legs. So it's interesting, isn't it? How it talks about that. So it's the herd of pigs. Another interesting word, is shepherd, right? So obviously, 2,000 years ago, the word shepherd hadn't been made. It was only in I'm talking about the English word shepherd. It's a very interesting word, isn't it? It almost reads like she, herd. So this is the thing, or it's sheep herd or shepherd. My biological dad, Charlie, he was a chef. A long time ago, he even worked with Gordon Ramsay. This is like more than 30 years ago. Before Gordon Ramsay was famous. This is the thing. Shepherd. Is that she? So she pee. Well, woman pee. Yeah, a woman will pee. Right. That's what they do. Herd. What does herd mean? It's is that or is it she, P, her, D? So D can be another way of saying dick, basically. So she pees or she urinates her dick. It's a magic way of saying, her pee is like a magic water fountain, and it's either it's herd or her dick or whatever it is. Okay, it's a magic thing. Here, what did Jesus say? My sheep hear my voice. Shepherd. I mean, this is the thing, heard is the past tense of hear. What does hear mean? Is that your location, or is that something you heard? Anyway, what happened to me in 2019 was I got attacked by demons. They attacked me, and they sexually attacked me. And I don't mean that just that was in my head, like I was imagining, like, oh no, it wasn't that. I mean, I actually felt it on my body, like in my orifices. That's how I felt it. And it's like, oh, can ghosts touch? Well, yeah. I mean, those demons. I've been assaulted, like physically assaulted, by invisible demons. As Leah Dana Houghton's ghost is on the front of my body. Archangel Michael is behind me. He's got my back. Yeah, he's a good guy. Archangel Michael. Leah Dana Houghton, she's bad. She's been a very naughty Mary. Very bad Mary. Why? Well, I've already talked about it lots of times before, but the fact is it has to do with jealousy, hatred, that sort of thing. So I think I've explained this thoroughly enough. I mean, see, now that's interesting. I mean, I'm thinking of or should I leave it? Hang on. You think I should say? Yeah. Okay. The mark of the beast. 666. Well, what do people associate the number 666 with? Evil. Basically. Yeah. Well. And so, when this guy described, in the book of Mark, he said, "My name is Legion," he replied, "for we are many." So what happened was, in 2019, when I first got attacked by demons, they attacked me, and I kept going. I kept living. Right? I didn't. I was strong enough to deal with it. Okay, I was mentally strong enough to deal with it. I kept going because I wanted to find out what was happening. Why were these crazy things happening to me? And before, what happened was I figured out that at some point things were changing, and Leah Dana Houghton was on top of me. And that happened. So since 2019, it's been a long journey. I figured out who I am. I figured out that the world is totally crazy and evil and totally against me. And I've been trying to tell people who I am, and people haven't listened to me. So this is the thing. The mark of the beast was, well, what was I going to say? So this is the thing, people who worship the beast or the mark of the beast. Well, this is the thing, right? Because, demons have been trying to, and Leah Dana Houghton, they've been trying to make me look like I am a demon-possessed maniac. Well, I'm God. Lee is on me. I am Lee Guy on. She's sitting on my face. And the thing is that I know a guy called Mark, and he married. He's gay, and he had a gay wedding or a civil partnership with another guy called Mark. So they're both called Mark, which is fascinating. Yeah. I just thought I'd mention it. Yeah. Your sister says, "Come out of this man, you impure spirit." It's an interesting thing, impure. It basically reads like, "I'm pure." Yeah, I could read it so, "Come out of this man, you impure spirit." So, I mean, this is the thing. Mary, or Aleah Dana Houghton, she is of my poo. Basically, that's what she is, right? She is of the world, the dirt. Okay, she is, you know how Adam, God told Adam, to the dust you shall return. You were taken from the dirt, you were taken from the ground, the dust, the soil, and to it you want to return. You return to that. That's what you do, because you're not spiritual. You're not of my spirit. You have chosen to be of the dirt, and to dust you shall return. And Mary, well, she's of the soil. I mean, you've heard, people talk about Mother Gaia. Well, who's Guy? Yeah? Who's Guy? What does Guy mean? I poo the universe. I poo the earth. I'm God. I'm the creator of the universe. So it's interesting, obviously, the pigs, it talks about the demons that go into the pigs. And obviously, well, this is the thing, because GS, those are my initials. Grant Salvin. Pigs. Pigs. Right? A large herd of pigs was feeding on the nearby hillside. The demons begged Jesus, "Send us among the pigs. Allow us to go into them." He gave them permission, and the impure spirits came out and went into the pigs. The herd, about 2,000 in number, rushed down the steep bank into the lake and were drowned. I mean, it's interesting as well, because it says, cause in magic, in tarot, there's the suit of pentacles, and the pentacle is, it quite often it's called coins. So it's, it's got the pentagram in it, the 5-pointed star, which represents earth, air, fire, and water, and spirit. So the 4 elements plus spirit. And the thing is, the pentacle is supposed to represent earth, but they put the star in it to basically try to make earth special. It's all about trying to pretend that earth is this, is everything. That's it. It's earth magic. It's trying to put earth, air. It's trying to put air, fire, and water into the earth, and say that spirit is in the earth, in the mud, in the soil, in the poo. And and the pentacle is associated. It's considered money. And how interesting is this? Because obviously, it says here that the herd, about 2,000 in number, rushed down the steep bank into the lake and were drowned. An interesting thing is Mark, the Mark I used to know, the gay guy, he used to work at a hair salon called Rush. He was a hairdresser. Yeah. Anyway. What is a demon? I mean, this is the thing. The word demon, it almost reads like D-moan. It sounds like dick moan. People do sex magic, right? They do. They are sex obsessed sex magicians, and they are obsessed with my power. They are, the world is an identity thief. And when I say the world, I mean the people of the world. They're identity thieves. They're interested in stealing my identity. That's what they want to do. And obviously, I have a problem with that. That was the problem I had with Adam and Eve. And I told them, said, to the dust you shall return. Yeah. So, yeah. So, I am Lee Guy On. I've explained that. In fact, there was a... So what does legion mean? What's the definition of legion? It says on here, on the American Heritage Dictionary of the English Language, 5th edition. Okay, so legion, it says here, the major unit of the Roman army consisting of 3,000 to 6,000 infantry troops and 100 to 200 cavalry troops. Okay, and then the next, the second definition, it says, a large military unit trained for combat, an army. The third definition, a large number, a multitude. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. There was a TV series called Legion as well. I've never watched it. So it's a Marvel series. It's the Marvel, they do the Marvel superhero movies. Says David Haller is a troubled young man diagnosed as schizophrenic, but after a strange encounter, he discovers special powers that will change his life forever. So, yeah. Blah, blah, blah. It says, diagnosed as schizophrenic as a child, David has been in and out of psychiatric hospitals for years. Now in his early 20s and free once again, David loses himself in the rhythm of the structured regimen of daily life. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, therapy, medication, sleep. David spends the rest of his time in companionable silence alongside his chatterbox friend Lenny. A fellow patient whose lifelong drug and alcohol addiction has done nothing to quell her boundless optimism that her luck is about to change. The pleasant numbness of David's routine is completely upended with the arrival of beautiful, troubled new patient Sid. Inexplicably drawn to each other, David and Sid share a startling encounter, after which David must confront the shocking possibility that the voices he hears and the visions he sees could actually be real. So, you know how I was talking about Adam from the Garden of Eden story? Well, I've already mentioned this so many times now. My biological cousin, okay, he's my blood-related cousin called Andrew Neil. He was Adam, and he was King David. So interesting how the TV series called Legion is about a guy called David. What a shocker. Yeah. So, have I said enough? I think so. Yeah. I'll leave it there.